a lot of respect to Milwaukee's team. They got a bunch of guys over there that you have great respect for anyway. But like Lillard, for example, been playing against him in the West for over a decade, and for him to come back and do what he did today was phenomenal. So a lot of guts there. Middleton was unbelievable in this series, and they're just great competitors, and to knock them out is difficult. It is really difficult. So our guys, congratulations to our guys. First time in 10 years our fans have had this kind of feeling, and so that's a great thing for this city and the state. We'll see who the next opponent is, but I thought our guys learned an awful lot in this series. It's hard to go through a playoff series against an experienced team like this, as your first time in the playoffs. And we had a lot of guys that were first timers in this, but they learned the things that you need to learn along the way. And the ability to win the game, win game 2 and get home court advantage was obviously enormous. And we had so many guys that played great. Myles Turner, was the foundation of this effort. He was just phenomenal. Didn't score much today, but his fingerprints were all over this series. Tyrese was great. Siakam was great. Obi Toppin today had a phenomenal game. Can't say enough about the job Nembhard did defensively, the job Aaron did defensively, on both Lillard and Middleton. I mean, these guys are, in my mind, both Hall of Fame players. And so, just really, really, really happy for our guys.
Rick, you mentioned before the playoffs even that the goal wasn't to make it, was to keep going through it. And now the first time in a decade, you said you're moving on. What did this mean to you and this team to actually accomplish this?
Well, I think I just went through all that. I mean, it's so difficult to win a playoff series. You talk about getting to the playoffs, and it's like in college when you have a really good team and you talk about getting to the Final Four, and then all of a sudden just getting to the Final Four is kind of where your expectation was. You've got to think bigger than that. And I've said for 2 years now, we're a franchise with big dreams, and we don't know exactly where this is going to go from here. We don't know who the opponent is. But you have to have big dreams and aspirations, to continue to grow and to continue to push yourself. So the thing I love about our team is that, we're a true team. We've got some great individual players, but we're a group that needs each other. And I think it's something that the people of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana can get behind.
You mentioned just Aaron and Andrew's defense. What impressed you about just your collective defense tonight? I think you held them under 25 in 3 of the 4 quarters. Obviously, a pretty big benchmark for you. Just what did you like about just what you guys did across the board there?
Well, we had to make some adjustments coming into this game. We had to, our poor offense was leading to bad defense. Our crowd was a big factor in this game, and the difference in the series was pressure. And it's very difficult to get, a group of guys to buy into 94-foot full court pressure on every possession. That's not a fast break. And our guys did it. It was, Siakam was picking up full court, Toppin was picking, everybody was doing it. And so, that allowed us to maintain our pace. And we just felt that, if we could keep pressure on them, that we could make it difficult.
I asked you about resiliency in pregame and how these guys are, were 23-12 and comeback and losses.
Well, first of all, let me talk about McConnell, because McConnell, last game had a rough game, and his bounce back today was absolutely phenomenal. I would say in this game, he was the major difference maker, with defensive intensity full court, and he knocked in 2 or 3 threes. He got in some difficult hoops around the basket. The crowd was going crazy. That period, late third, early fourth quarter was just, it was something else.
I was just going to go back to that, but for them as a whole, just what makes these guys, what is it about the makeup of this team that makes it good at taking the lesson from a win and a loss and moving on from it without dwelling on it?
Well, I mean, Kevin and Chad have done a great job of not only collecting a great group of young, talented players, but great people. And so, we work at communication. We are collaborative with our guys. We make sure they have a voice when we are talking about difficult decisions in a series. And, we're all in the whole thing together, so, and it was pretty clear, coming into this, there was statistical evidence, but there was also evidence as the series progressed that we needed to continue to play a full court defensive game against these guys. So we'll see about the next series. Who knows? It may be a totally different thing, but once again, I just, this is one of the reasons we acquired Pascal Siakam, was to have a chance not only to get to the playoffs, but to advance in the playoffs. And he showed tonight the kind of difference maker he's been here. And so I should say he showed in this series. He played well tonight, but he's been tremendous, and he's also been a tremendous teammate and a great leader.
Rick, what impressed you most about the way you guys handled this series and just about the way you played in this series?
Well, the emotions of an intense playoff series are, with a young team, are something that can be very challenging. And we just kept talking to them about the importance of poise. It's great to celebrate, but don't allow celebrations to inhibit getting to the next part of the job. And look, we're a team that's got to be emotional, especially at home. That's what gets our crowd into it. And so they all love the game. Tyrese is the ringleader. He just brings an emotional exuberance to our team and to our fan base. And the whole city and state is behind Myles Turner. I mean, this is 9 years. He's never advanced in the playoffs, and he was the foundation of this.
You a little bit curious as to how guys who are in their first playoff situation would respond and react?
Well, I guess curious is a good word. I just felt the character of our team would allow our guys to learn on the fly, to take necessary teaching and advice, mentoring, whatever, coaching, whatever you want to call it. And that was the case. I mean, Nembhard's never been in the playoffs. Nesmith has been, but not in this kind of a role. Siakam's won a championship, but he's never been one of the two lead guys on the team. Ty hasn't been in. Myles has been in once or twice, but not advanced. I mean, Obi played some minutes in the playoffs last year. Isaiah's never been in. And TJ was in once, I think, with the bubble team, and I think he was in it with Philadelphia as well. So we have some experience, but for a young group in this generation to be able to accept coaching and communication and all that is such a glorious part of the job, working with these guys.
Well, yeah. How are you feeling about this? I didn't realize that your teams haven't won a playoff series since the championship season. What has this been like for you, just this season and this playoff run?
Yeah, this has been great. I mean, look, when we had to basically squash this thing 2.5 years ago and start over, when you start using the R word, it can get ugly, and it can be. There's teams that were rebuilding for 9 years, and so, Kevin and Chad, struck gold with Tyrese, and it turned out to be a great trade for Sacramento, and then. The Nesmith trade was another important piece. The Toppin acquisition was big, and then we had to figure out which guys were the guys to stay. And Myles and TJ were obvious guys, And then Nembhard in the second round, Siakam in the deal in late January. and you go, right on down the line. So it's been, it's been super fun with this group. I mean, when you work with a guy like Tyrese Haliburton on a day-to-day basis, I mean, there's nothing better in coaching than that. There just isn't.
TJ, Rick just called this a bounce-back game for you. You kept getting the crowd into it, making shots your best game of the series. How did it feel out there, and what did it all mean to you to do that in a closeout game?
Yeah, pretty poor performance from me last game, competitively and just all around. Just tried to go to a different place competitively and get our crowd involved, because when they're involved, this is a really, really hard place to play.
Obi, same for you, one of your best games, if not the best of the series. When did you feel that it was clicking for you, and what were you seeing that allowed you to get going?
TJ actually helped me today. Told me to be aggressive, play my basketball. But everybody did their job today. From the starters to the bench, everybody did what they had to do to help us win.
TJ, you've been here a while, seen some faces come in and out along the way. What does this series win mean for this team, this franchise?
A lot. Not being in the playoffs since the bubble, and not being able to, advance since, 2014. It's to take great pride in being able to advance and extend our season and play in the second round.
I don't know if you guys know this, but your bench outscored Milwaukee's bench tonight 50-10. How are you guys able to be so together, collectively throughout the game?
I mean, Milwaukee's got a great team, one, and if I can be honest with you, I think our bench has, it took a couple steps back, competitive wise and just productivity wise. And I think tonight, all of us, just had a mentality of, we're going to go out there and go to another level competitively. And, that's the bench that, I kind of saw all season. So I'm really happy for every guy that's, come off the bench this season.
You both got a ton of love from the hometown crowd tonight. Can you speak to just the atmosphere and what that meant to receive that love?
I mean, I could go on for hours about our fan base.
I got this question.
I'm already talking. And our crowd is they're just unbelievably amazing. They prove it night in and night out by the way we play here. It's such a home court advantage for us, and personally, myself and everyone on the team have so much love for this entire fan base. Go ahead, Obi.
You said everything.
Okay, great.
TJ, you talked about just taking it to another level competitively, but I guess in terms of figuring out your spots or just figuring out how you had to attack the defense, what was going to be there, and I guess what wasn't. What did you have to figure out, and especially how you had to attack offensively?
Yeah, I felt like tonight was one of my better let the game come to me games. I feel like I've tried to force the issue a couple games, and hasn't really worked out the way I'd like to. So Lloyd Pierce just kind of said, let the game come to you. Get off the ball. It'll find its way back, and it did. So credit to my teammates.
You hadn't had a steal in this series, and you had 4 tonight, obviously. But was that an additional part of it, helping defense get you going as well? And what were you just trying to do, take some of those?
Kind of just do what I've done, my whole career. And I thought I did a bad job of it, like you said. Not having a steal this entire series it's unlike me. So kind of just trying to make people as uncomfortable as possible. Go make plays in the defensive end, because when we're up and getting steals and things of that nature, we take it to another level and get out and run. And especially to this guy, he sets the tempo for our team and was so crucial to us winning tonight.
And for either or both of you guys were 23-12 after a loss this year, and obviously 2-0 in this series after a loss. I mean, what is it about the makeup of this group that makes you guys good at taking lessons without dwelling? I guess when you after a loss, and what does it say about these guys? You could apply it like that in a playoff series when you had to get these wins.
I think it kind of shows maturity. There was times throughout the year that we lost games that we shouldn't, and we let it affect the next game and the next game after that. To kind of let what happened last game to us, we just didn't show up competitively, and we kind of came together and said, that effort's not going to get it done. In a mature way, came out and just really competed. So just proud of the effort from the group.
TJ, can you expand on Obi mentioned that you talked to him before the game a little bit. Can you expand a little bit on what you said to him there and how meaningful maybe that was in helping him get going?
I mean,
He says the same thing every game, but go ahead.
I just tell him when in the open floor, there's not many guys in the NBA that can really challenge him at the rim. And when he's running the way he does, he just takes our group to another level. It's really, he's a special player. His ability to be able to shoot the ball, get out and run and create mismatches in transition, and go catch lobs.
You special too, bro. Appreciate you.
Him going and getting offensive rebounds tonight and doing things like that. It's just, like I said, it takes the guys that are out there to another level, and it got the crowd involved as well. So, he's like I said, just a special player, but even better teammate and a great person.
Obi, I'm going to get you involved a little bit on this one. Get ready. I got two for you. The first, obviously, so many of you guys contributed to this win today. First playoff series win in 10 years. Who got the game ball tonight?
Nobody? I don't think so.
I don't think not.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I don't think nobody.
And then for you personally, if the Knicks end up winning this, which they're up right now, what would it mean like just to go up against them in the next series?
Feel like I'm gonna have the same mentality that I had coming into this series. No matter who's in front of us, we're locked into everything the coaches is telling us to do offensively and defensively. Whether that's the Knicks, whether it's the Bucks, anybody we play against. We have a scout, which Jim and Jenny does a great job with defensively. Obviously, LP, Mike does the offensive side, but everybody is doing their job on our team, and that's why we've been so successful. So, damn, that was a good answer.
Great answer.
Yeah, Obi, what did you guys learn about yourselves and about your teammates in this series? Because you came in here with not a lot of playoff experience, and you got it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I feel like Siakam coming here was a big thing for us, just because the experience that he has. Obviously, he has a ring, but he's been around great player. I feel like a lot of us been around great players, and been in different situations, but having the playoff, what's the word I'm looking for? Playoff experience. It makes it a little easier to vocalize to the players on what needs to be done, and we all listen. Like, obviously, he's one of the older guys after TJ, but everybody.
I'm not even the oldest on the team.
Yes, you are. But everybody just listens to each other. Whether you're a starter, whether you're a guy on the bench, like everybody's trying to get better out there, and we're always trying to put each other in positions to be successful. So,
Great answer.
old man.
Tyrese, being able to close out the series at home in Indianapolis with the fans. You had the game you had, which was impressive, but you also had the bench helping out with 50 points. And we just heard from two of them, Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell. How are you guys able to do this and bounce back from Game 5?
I thought everybody just played the right way. I thought Obi came in and played with unbelievable energy. TJ's energy was amazing. Our bench's energy was it was flowing the whole game, honestly. And I mean, at the end of the day, the 2 games we lost in this series, they dictated the pace. And the games that we won, we dictated it. So we just knew that we were going to have to come out and be aggressive. And whether that, I think their switching kind of slowed us down in Game 5. And we didn't wait to see what they were going to do. It didn't really matter what they were going to do. We just attacked.
Tyrese, after both losses, you guys made the adjustments to have a couple of impressive wins. What did you learn about this group and being able to do that to come back with Game 2 and then here again in Game 6?
Yeah, I mean, I think playing the right way. I thought we just played maybe a little bit too much, maybe a little too ISO heavy last game. Just, they were switching to slow us down, and it worked for them. And we weren't scoring, and that allowed them to, play slow and methodical, which, they want to play at that pace. And we just felt like today we were going to come in and dictate the pace from start to finish, and I thought we did a good job of that.
Tyrese, you mentioned TJ a little bit there. By far his biggest game of the series. Did you anticipate a game like that from him tonight?
Yeah, I knew he was going to respond because his wife Val was here, and I always tell him he plays better when Val's at the game. So he was a little down after Game 5. He didn't perform how he wanted to. And I just told him after the game, I said, hey, we're going to go home, and Val's going to be at the game, and you're going to be better. And it happened. So shout out Val. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go again. Tyrese, could you get a sense in that third quarter going into the fourth? You guys had worn them down. Really feel like they kind of hit the wall there in the second half.
Yeah, we just knew that if we dictated pace, we'd be fine. In Game 1, at the end of the game, they were, we had our hands on our knees after the game. They were saying we were tired. So, I think we just took that. After Game 1, we came together, just felt like, we know the recipe. We understand it, and we executed it the right way.
A few times this year after a tough loss, you would say this team needs to grow up a little bit. Tonight, winning all 4 quarters in a clinching game, do you think this was kind of the description of your team growing up?
I mean, maybe part of the growth, but we're far from growing up. I think there's still a lot for us to do. I think we just got to do a better job. I think like in Game 5, like we have to understand, and a lot of us have never been in that situation, but a closeout game, like teams are going to play desperate, they're going to play hard, and that's what they did in Game 5. And we felt like maybe we played a little bit more like, as players, we felt like we were a little more trying not to lose than to win, if that makes any sense. We had to do a better job of being more aggressive and playing harder and controlling what we can, and I thought we did a better job of that today.
3-0 at home in this series and 3 really good wins. What's the energy, the vibe here that is clearly different when you guys are home?
Yeah, we have a great crowd. They just did a good job of rallying us, keeping us engaged. I think that our crowd has been second to none all year. We've talked about that throughout this series, and our home court advantage is real. I think just because of the pace that we play at when we're at home, and guys are feeling good. I think we're a really tough team to beat. So. I think it just all goes to pace, and we usually, for some reason, you play faster when you're at home because it's just, I think it's human nature to a point. So I thought we did a good job at that.
Tyrese, what did you learn about yourself and your teammates throughout this 6-game series?
I feel like, I don't know if we necessarily learned anything that we didn't already know. I think that we just did a good job of responding when needed. After Game 1, that's a tough loss, and then after Game 5, the series could have twisted anyway coming into today, and I feel like we just responded the right way and just understanding who we are and the recipe for us to win games. Excuse me. That's just for us to control the pace, and we were able to do that.
Real quick, Beverly came over to you, and I think Myles, and he walked over to the bench. What was that moment like? Is it worth recalling?
He said, "Good series." Belt ass.
You're just talking about just Game 5 and what that could have been. I guess you guys were, I think, 23-12 after a loss this year, and obviously in this series 2-0. I mean, what is it about the makeup of this group that makes you guys good at taking lessons from losses and not dwelling on them and not letting 1 become 2, become 3, become 4?
I think just who we are as competitors. I think that we get irritated after losses. I think, like right after the game, when we landed at whatever it was, 2:30 in the morning, Pascal sent a long text. I sent a text. Coach Carlisle sent a text. All in, one couple in our players chat, a couple in our group chat with the coaches. Just like, I think that we've kind of had that mentality all year. Who we all are as competitors. Like, usually the games after losses, like we can't wait to get to them. I think that's important for us. We just feel like we always respond, and I think part of that could just be due to us being young and hard-headed and wanting to compete. And Yeah, obviously this series has been chippy. You know what I mean? That's just part of the competition of it. But you know, we wanted to beat those guys for sure. I think just to be poised, keep our composure. Like I think after game one, I think it's easy to be like, man, that was a tough loss for us, whatever. And it was, but it was like, I don't know. We felt like after game one, the momentum was with us, honestly. Like we felt like we were fine. We knew what we had to change to be better. And I think us as players, we all have constant conversation. Like it's all we talk about. A lot of us spend time together off the court, going to dinners and stuff. We all go to dinner with each other all the time and all that stuff. So it's just constant communication about it. We love the game. We love competing. And I think it's just important for us to all be on each other just because, like, after game 5, our bench didn't really play that well. Nobody really played that well. And, you know, it's easy to get caught up in your mind and, you know, we got to go home and a couple of their guys might come back and who knows what, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Just be who we are and everything will be fine.
What it means, like, you're that undersized guy, but be able to make like a huge difference. So he doesn't play at his height, and I feel like there's a lot of kids, especially back home, they can watch a guy like TJ play, and they see hope in him. Not everybody's gonna be 6'11", not everybody's gonna be 7 feet tall, but you work on all the little intangibles around your game, and he's a perfect example of that. And I'm excited that we've been on this journey together as long as we have.
Andrew was telling me just how you could just sense, just talking about how fired up he was to know that there's more basketball still to come. How pumped are you to know that you'll be back here again, coming up soon in front of these fans, and a chance here to continue to advance in the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, man. I think the city deserves this. Obviously I'm excited about it, but I think this is more so about Indianapolis and Indiana fans at that. And I think they've waited a long time, damn near a decade. I think it was a decade to get back to this seat. And we don't want to stop here. We still have a lot to do. So I have a lot more work to do. But I'm excited again for the opportunity.
Last question for me. The game ball. Of course, there's always been talk about the game ball against the Bucks. Who got the game ball for you guys?
No comment. Next.
Okay.
Myles, you talked before the season about Indy now feeling like your second home. You've been here for a long time. Finally, to get playoff series win with this franchise, what does that mean to you? What were your feelings right after the game?
From an individual standpoint, it was a bittersweet just because of the way things unfolded for myself tonight. But I was very excited about for our group. You hear me talking to him for the city just because. I've seen the highs and lows of this. And I know the fans have seen the highs and lows of this over the past 10 years as well. So to finally get a little bit of fruit of your labor, with this is incredible. We still have a lot of work to do, but for me personally, it means a lot to finally advance, being in the NBA as long as I have.
What's just this say for this group, the way that it continues to come back after losses? I think you guys were 23-12 after a loss this year. You have 2 in this one that could have been tough, and you guys were able to quickly turn those around, kind of learn the lessons from them and not dwell. What's that you say for the makeup of this group and why it?
I don't really think there's a lot of ego with our group. And, I say that respectfully, man. I feel like at times in this league, ego can really take the front for the actual game itself, and I don't think we really deal with that a lot in our locker room. And I think we do a great job of communicating, more than anything. If we see one guy's going, we try to go back to him. If we see one guy's off, we try to give him energy. Like, that's what it's about, being a team. I think we're the epitome of that. We have 2 all-stars on the team, but we have guys that play above their role, and that is something that doesn't happen a lot in this league. So something to hang our hats on.
You guys talked a lot about just the lessons that you can learn from being in the playoffs that you can't learn without being there first. This obviously is a tough, experienced group to play against, and you guys, it seemed like there was a lot of opportunity to learn from this. I mean, what are you think the biggest lessons you guys take from this? What did you learn from yourself in this series?
I think the biggest thing is playing with the lead. It's very hard to do in this league. I think that a 20-point lead is nothing in this league. Guys can come back at all times. So being able to keep your same composure while you're up and play with the same intensity, not take your foot off the gas. Pascal talks about all the time as being professional. If you're up there, you got to finish the job. I think we also learned that, at times we know that we had the upper hand on some teams. Like Milwaukee was on the teams that we would have beat a lot this year. So at times they resort to stuff outside of basketball, other antics and whatnot, try to get our guys rattled. And I think our guys did a great job of responding, to that type of stuff. I think that, we won't go into detail obviously, but there's all the rah stuff that happens between the series. It's expected, but sometimes it gets taken up to a different level. And I'm glad our young guys responded the way they did.
I saw you hug or high five like a ton of your teammates right on the court after the final buzzer. What has this specific group meant to you as you've stayed here for all these years?
I played with some good teams here, but I haven't played with a team as together as this team. You know, I think that we have such a great makeup of vets and younger guys, and I think it's kind of like a perfect mesh. You know, and I really go to bat for all these guys. I love seeing these guys successful. You know, this team is made up of people who either were kind of like throwaways, or people didn't want them, or they didn't really get their real opportunity, and now they got their opportunity and they're taking it and running with it. And I think I resonate with that type of plight, that type of story. So it's special for me to see guys like the Aaron Neesmiths come in here and really get himself a good contract and make way for himself. I mean, that type of stuff is emotional for me because it's just exciting, just to see guys be able to change their families' lives, and no, it's unreal. I think that it's dope that I'm able to be a part of a group like this, and it's definitely a blessing.
Played in a lot of big games in the Fieldhouse over the years. Where does this crowd, this atmosphere of these 3 games rank for you?
Yeah, the bar for me was an in-season tournament. It was incredibly loud and electric in here, but I think that they really superseded what it means to be a Pacers fan. It was incredible just to feel the momentum and feel the energy, and I think we definitely feed off that. There's no place like home. There's no better place to play in the association, and I'm excited for games 3 and 4, whoever we play here.